What's up, Vatal family? Today we got a dope episode with us today. We have our man Julbert with us, who is a LinkedIn expert, right? And I'm not using that word lightly because Rel and I are actually excited ourselves to learn as much as possible. So we're gonna dive into a lot of different things. So if you're a corporate person already, this is gonna be for you. If you own a business, this is gonna be for you. In general, if you're looking to break into the platform, this is gonna be for you. So let's just have an organic conversation. Let's figure out a few things right now, and then let's jump into it. Before we do that, bro, just introduce yourself and give them some background.
What's up? What's up, everyone? Julbert Abraham here, also known as the LinkedIn guy. So I've been fortunate to have a business for now 9 years. Crazy, specialized solely on LinkedIn. A little background about me with that weird name. I'm originally from Haiti. So English is my third language, right? So if you never heard somebody named Julbert before, that's why. So I'm from Haiti, speak French, Haitian Creole, and then I learned English here in the States. So if you hear my accent coming in and out, that's why. I'm excited. I can't wait to just share the game, give you all the sauce.
That's
Yeah,
fire.
most definitely. That is super fire, and that's amazing that you represent Haiti so well.
Thank you.
Emphasis on the so well. Yeah, so that's good, man. That's good. And like you said, you came from Haiti. So can you just give us a little background on your journey, just how you even got to this point in the first place?
Sheesh. All right. I'll give you guys the short version, right?
Hmm.
So it's been about 24 years that I came to the States. I came in, flew in from the JFK airport, right? And the crazy part, when I first came, none of us spoke English. I came with my family. None of us spoke English, and we got lost at the airport.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I speak English and I still get lost at the airport. So
Right? And so think about that. We got lost at the airport. None of us spoke any English. We didn't know what to say, but we figured out a way, right? And that's that we all have that in us in terms of figuring out things when things are not going the way we want them to do. And the beauty about that is one memory that I remember from back then is we flew to the US in JFK, and then we were trying to catch another plane to go to Canada. So, so we
Okay.
found someone at the airport after hours of working around that spoke French,
Hmm.
and that person directed us to the airline to go to Canada. So I
Mm.
went from Haiti to the US to Canada, and then from Canada back to the US, went to Brooklyn, and then from Brooklyn, lived in Miami. So I've been to where all the Haitian locations
what?
at.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
lived it.
This man has walked every single path you could probably imagine.
It was mad fun because I was young. It was me, my dad, my mom, my sisters. You know what I mean? So we had a chance to really, get to enjoy and experience America like a lot of people don't too. Because when we flew to Miami, right? When we flew to JFK, and then we flew to Canada. From Canada to Brooklyn, we took a bus, right? We took the Greyhound bus, and then from Brooklyn to Miami, we took another bus. So we had a chance to kind of drive all up and down the East Coast, and that was amazing. So from
Hmm.
that, I ended up staying in the States and went to school here. Had my first job when I was 14. I used to make $5 an hour working at a deli, and I barely spoke English, but they gave me the job. So working, going to school at the same time, I was able to improve my English and got a
Hmm.
second job and where I was doing sales. So I've been doing sales since I was 15. Cold calling
Wow.
people every single night, right? I used to make about 700 cold calls a night. And then if I didn't make a sale that night, you have a potential to get fired. So you had to make a sale. It was crazy,
Wow.
but it was good in terms of it helped me build character,
Right.
right? And the
Yeah.
beauty about that job, because it's telemarketing job, is now I was able to make a little bit of money. And then when I graduated high school, I went to college and I started my first business at 18. So
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
That is
That's
commendable.
that work ethic right there.
it
Exactly.
create that over time. The
Hmm.
beauty about that, when I was in college, I had an event photography business with a few of my friends. And I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. I started a business for two reasons. My friends and I were like, we don't want to be broke, and we don't want to meet a lot of girls. So we were able to get both, you know. We met a lot of girls and we weren't broke.
Can't be mad at it. That's why we
Yeah,
started too, man.
yeah. I
So
mean, listen,
Right?
yeah, you got. I can't blame your hustle, man, and I love the honesty.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you, I learned so many skill set throughout that process because I learned how to start and run a business. I learned how to delegate, how to build out a team. I also learned how to build strategic partnership, right? Because
Mhm.
in college, some of our clients were the university, the other universities that were local. We were doing their events, their alumni dinner, their graduation. We were taking pictures at all those events.
Mhm.
So we were building, but the only thing we missed around that time is we didn't have a mentor. So we didn't know how big of an organization we can build, right? And every time we made money, we'll take that money and go party with girls. So like a
I
typical
respect
college
it.
students, you know?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But the
Yeah.
beauty about that is we had a good time. We learned a lot. And when I graduated, I decided instead of, if we had a mentor, we would have kept the business going and would have definitely turned into a seven-figure business.
Mhm.
But we didn't. So we did what every other, young college graduate did. We went and get jobs. So I had
Mhm.
a chance to work at a company called Enterprise Rent a Car. And that's where I was able to sharpen my skills in terms of sales and service, because that
Mhm.
was the two main thing at that company. And I learned the business. I became one of the managers. Then I got recruited another company where I did insurance. So I did insurance underwriting, plus I was managing a book of agent. And that's where they taught me how to use LinkedIn, right?
Got
So
you.
the job gave me the skill set that allowed me to start the business. So
Mhm.
sometimes people get in, they're like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to quit my job, but they haven't thought about how they can use the skill set from the job to become a better business owner. You see
Yes.
what
Yeah,
I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. No, can
absolutely.
you actually speak on that? Because I think
Yes.
it's super important that you said that, right? Like, Rel and I have been using the term Wannapreneur a lot because I think a lot of
Mhm.
people are people who want to be entrepreneurs, and they have a vision behind whatever they want to do, and they kind of are just winging it, right? And trying to figure
Yeah,
it out, but they don't know what skills are required. They don't know the organization that goes behind it, the plan that goes
mhm.
behind it. And you get a lot of that from the corporate world, right? You really,
Absolutely.
really learn that. So can you speak on that really quickly?
Yes, I mean, I can tell you both. What I got a lot of skill set first at Enterprise, because at Enterprise, what I learned was how to sell, right? And then we had a bunch of corporate accounts that I managed, how to have conversation with them. I also learned, because I was a manager, how to delegate what I was doing, right? And then how to manage people. I was a young manager. I had people older than me. I had to learn how to speak to them certain way, right? And I had to be able to recognize when they did something great and also tell them when they need to do something better. So I had to learn how to have those tough conversations. So these are
Hmm.
all skill sets that I was acquiring before I even really start the business that I have now.
Hmm.
Then working for the insurance company, it was more like having higher level conversation because it was a larger organizations, billions of dollars. I was managing like 10 millions of dollars for them, doing underwriting and managing a group of agents. So I was spending a lot of time on the phone and
Hmm.
really just having conversation with agents and guiding them and teaching them and training them. Okay, how do you explain this to a client? How do you use LinkedIn to get this client to agree to what you have to say? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Really, those skill sets that I learned in corporate America. So at the end of the day, what I see is if you have a job right now and you want to be an entrepreneur, that's great. Figure out what are some skills that you can learn from this job that can help you be a better entrepreneur, right?
Hmm.
Is it operation? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it HR? Right? What is that skill set that you can learn that okay, I'm gonna learn this, I'm gonna be the best at it, and then I'm gonna use that when I'm ready to launch my business or really take my business to a new level to
Hmm.
be an even better entrepreneur, right? So
Yeah,
you don't have to rush to get out, you know what I mean? Because you could still have a side business on the side. So you go to work during the day and you work that side business in the evening.
Right.
Um, which is one thing that I end up doing is I was working at the insurance company, and then once again I have that entrepreneurial bug. So my friend and I never share that story, started a cleaning business.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Jersey, he lived in Philly. We found a way to start a cleaning business and be able to run that business part-time, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the weekends, I'll be taking we had clients waiting for us to clean their place. We didn't know how to hire yet, so we end up doing the job ourselves. So I
Yeah.
would drive down to Philly to clean on weekends.
Wow.
So it
Wow.
was always like, I always find other ways to like, okay, yeah, I have this job, but maybe I need to build that cleaning business. But also I
Mm-hmm.
realized by trying to build that, my partner and I had two different vision, right? He
Mm-hmm.
wanted to keep it something local. I wanted to make it bigger. So it didn't work out. We had to close it down, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But then guess what happened? After that, I end up getting laid off from work. So now the crazy part is I'm like, okay, I have all these skill sets. I'll be good. I started interviewing for a bunch of places. Everybody said, you're awesome. Second interview, third interview. Don't worry. Wait a week. We're going to send you your offer letter. No offer letter never showed up. So then I ran out of money. Right?
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Saving is drowned out. I'm being evicted out my house, right? My
Wow.
car is being repossessed. And I'm like, oh crap, I need to do something. And waiting for someone to hire me is not going to work because I'm, handling my future to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what I did? I started a consulting business in my apartment. I said, well, I have the skill set. I know how to do marketing. Why don't I start a consulting business? I have the internet and I always wanted to work from home. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I started using LinkedIn to get my clients. That's how I
Okay.
started. I didn't see LinkedIn as a business. I just saw it as a tool that I can just get clients, right? I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of rich people on LinkedIn. Let me use LinkedIn, find people that
Wow.
has money that can help me pay my bills, and I can provide a service to help them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was my whole premise. And guess
Okay.
what? After a lot of trial and error, I got my first client. That client paid me 500 bucks, and that changed my life. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I was able to pay my bills. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can get a second one. I got a third one. Right. So I had this business going slowly but surely, working with the clients. Then guess what? Something else happened. My mom said, hey, you need to go get an MBA. That little business thing is cute, but you need to get another
Mm-hmm.
degree. So I'm like, okay, mom. So I enroll into an MBA program. So I have an MBA that I'm doing part-time from home online. Then I have a side business that I'm running to pay my bills. Then
Mm-hmm.
I met a girl who I'm like, oh, she's cute. Let me talk to her. She's like, oh, I don't want to date you. But then she's like, you know what? I'm getting into real estate. You should look into it. I'm like, sure. So I connected with her, got into real estate.
Wow.
You see what I mean? But
Yeah,
I
like
still
one
have
thing kept
that.
building on.
Exactly. But then all these places I'm learning new skills. Then from real estate, I learned about network marketing. So I'm doing all these things. And sometimes you have to try a lot of things to find what you're really good at.
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what ended up happening to me. In network marketing, I started learning about personal development. I started learning about mindset. I had a mentor who was telling me, hey, this LinkedIn thing you're doing, keep doing it. Something about it that's good, keep doing it. And then when I graduated from my MBA program in 2013, I was in a meeting, in a network marketing meeting, and I said, hey, I started, I do marketing consulting and I use LinkedIn to get my clients.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people said, how'd you do that? And I'm like, well, here's what I did. And
Yeah.
then somebody else said, who runs a big real estate firm, said, I need to bring somebody in to train my people. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. So those little clues start coming through, right? So that's why it's important to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always listen because you never know where the opportunity is going to come. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
based on that, what ended up happening next was after I graduated, I got an opportunity where they're like, oh, I want you to work with us as a consultant to help us with LinkedIn. I'm like, okay. So I took that opportunity and I helped them create a plan on how they can use LinkedIn to grow their business. And
Mm-hmm.
I literally, I'm sitting right here in a cubicle. Across from me is sales. Next to me is my marketing manager. And I see these guys doing over 6 figures with the plan that I created. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
And
that
guess
could be
what?
you.
Yeah, right. So these little, signs start coming. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't know they could do that.
Right,
Right.
right.
Although I created a plan, but I didn't see the bigger vision. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
sometimes you don't see the bigger vision when you're in it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then guess what happened? A couple weeks later, they let me go. I was so angry,
What?
so pissed off that that happened. Guess what I did? That same day, I called my mentor, who is an attorney. I said, hey, I want to start my own business. I don't want anybody else to control my future.
Right. Right.
That
That's
was
the way to do it.
September 2013. And that's all the company that I have now started.
That was
Fast
it.
forward, we've been fortunate to work with over 700 plus clients globally. We have a small team of 10. Everybody's remote now, so we don't even use an office. I'm here in my home office. And boom, that's how we started. That's how we really get the ball rolling.
Wow.
That's what an incredible story, man. Like
Thank you.
I love, yeah, no, most definitely. Like I love how you use all your skills from the job setting and then use it to create a future for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, when we work in jobs, we're building someone else's dream.
Mm-hmm.
But what you did is you use that time to like, all right, I'm gonna reinvest the skills into my dream. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like every entrepreneur has that moment where, like for you, it was getting laid off after you put all that work in. But
Yeah,
we sit down as entrepreneurs and we're like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna control my own future. And look what you built. So that's commendable. Now, what I want to say is, okay, me, my background, I came from the education field, right? So we didn't
mm-hmm.
really, at least teachers that I was around, we never really used LinkedIn because we had a separate website where you go to find jobs.
Yeah,
So for people who don't know the power of LinkedIn or what it even entails, like could you just kind of give us like a quick rundown on just LinkedIn's platform and how beneficial it could be to someone who's whether they're owning a business or they're even an employee.
absolutely. So a stats that a lot of people don't know is there's over 850 million professionals on LinkedIn, right?
Wow.
850 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but think about it. These are business professionals. These are people that are running multi-million and multi-billion dollar companies,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to have access to these people on LinkedIn, there are people that you want to get in front of that are almost impossible to find because guess what? They're private on Instagram. They may have 3 people that follow them on Facebook. They may have 10 people that are just family members. You'll never know these people are running these type of organization
Mm-hmm.
on LinkedIn. They share that first party data. Hey, I am CEO of XYZ company, or I am a VP at Google, etc. Or I'm an investor at these top 10 companies, right? So now you're able to get that type of information from the source itself. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one, right? The other power is if you're working a job, this is a great place to start networking and building relationship. Because if you want to move up your career, it's gonna be who you know, not mostly what you know, right? You could be a freaking genius, but if nobody knows you,
Right.
right? And you
Right.
want that next opportunity, it's very hard to get. So you got to start building those relationships. And what I love about it, especially if you're in the job market, if you attended college, use your alumni network, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, you have an alumni network, guess what? You have access to hundreds of thousands of people on your alumni network on LinkedIn. So start identifying people that maybe could be potential mentors to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or people that are in the next level that you want to be. Let's say you're a manager right now at your job and you want to get to a director or senior level at maybe the same company or another company. Go into that alumni group, identify people that are director level or senior VP level, reach out to them to figure out, okay, how does it feel to be in that position? So that networking aspect make LinkedIn valuable, right? So that's one. Two is the personal branding stage, right? We're living in an age where we all have a digital footprint, right? Everybody has an Instagram, a TikTok, or Facebook, or whatever. Well, guess what? You can also use your LinkedIn as a place to build that personal brand in the workspace. So, what do I mean by that? You could, let's say you're great at IT, right? You're like a IT genius and you may be a manager, in the IT department. Start building your LinkedIn profile, sharing content around IT, how to prevent cybersecurity, how to prevent yourself from hacking, right? Now you're building that personal brand. When you're ready to go to the next level, that personal brand become valuable because not only your company will see you valuable, but other competitors will like, wait a second, this guy, he works at this company. He built that brand. I know him as a person. Maybe he can help us. Right now, it
Mm-hmm.
creates opportunity for you to move up faster because you built influence. So that's the value on the corporate side. Now, let's say you have a business, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. One, the networking. Two, the personal branding. Three, you building a team, right? You need to bring talent. So sourcing the right people that you want to work for you or your business, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you want to scale. Let's say you have a 7-figure, you want to go to 8 or 9 figures, you need a team to do that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? The hardest part of any entrepreneur is finding talented people. Guess where
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of talented people on LinkedIn. So you could identify people that work at companies that you would want to, let's say hire somebody that work at Google. You
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
top of the top. Now they're going to be part of your team because you bring something valuable to them. So that's what people got to start seeing. LinkedIn is not just a resume holder, it's a place where you can build relationships that could lead to more opportunities
Mm-hmm.
while you're learning. Because the mindset on LinkedIn is career, education, and networking. So
Right.
use that to your advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think one thing struck me when you were saying like a lot of the stuff related to different sites, right? So like you named a bunch of different other social media sites. So when it comes to like, Instagram or Facebook or TikTok now, it's blowing up. All these
Yes.
different sites, people are building their profiles there, right? And a lot of I would say a lot of people actually are marketing on those sites. So what do you have to say for people that, market to those sites? Because one, I would say that it's probably the most common that comes to mind.
Mhm.
And two, I remember having some type of little background in LinkedIn and marketing in general, right? So like I'm pretty sure that LinkedIn marketing is kind of expensive. So when we look at that perspective on things, say I'm a business owner, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out the marketing end and saying I want to reach out to people, I want to network with people. What is going to make me go to LinkedIn since it's so expensive versus the other ones like Facebook, like Instagram,
Mhm.
or even now Pinterest. These
Yeah.
sites also have it, right? So what do
Yeah.
you have to say for that?
So it's very simple. You got to think about who's the audience you're targeting, right? So if let's say you have an e-commerce business,
Hmm.
right? Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, that's perfect for the direct to consumer business side.
Hmm.
Let's say you want to build a wholesale side of the business, you leverage LinkedIn because now you're in a B2B side where you're tapping into businesses and building
Hmm.
relationship with owners. You see
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So you
Right.
got to
Yep.
look at a platform for who you're looking to go after. Because if you're in like let's say you own a restaurant,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, you may be giving food to people, which is more direct to consumer, but then you may want to use LinkedIn for the catering side because now you can cater to
Mm.
corporate
To corporate
events.
events. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So that's how people got to start looking at it, right? Is okay, I see the platform. I'm not going to find my specific audience in there because they're all here. Well, what can I do with it? Okay, if I'm looking into getting into the corporate side or I'm looking to create partnership, let's say podcast. I think I mentioned this to you guys,
Yeah.
right? Your audience may be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. But if you want to get brand partnership, where you gonna find the brand managers of Doritos? You're not
Right.
gonna find them, just hanging out Facebook or Instagram unless you know them or somebody knows them, right? You're gonna find them on LinkedIn. That's gonna say brand manager of Doritos. If that's the right person that could partner up with your brand, then you should also be on that platform, focus solely on that particular audience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
true. So true. Yeah. So then, okay. So I'm picturing it even like within ourselves, right? Like, so say back to where create a LinkedIn. How
Yeah.
do you stand out on a platform where, it may, do you feel like it's oversaturated? Like, cause, obviously we know Instagram and TikTok, these sites are super oversaturated with a lot of people that do a lot of the similar things. So how do you stand out on LinkedIn to even reach out to, brands like that if you want to, like how you said to leverage it? How
Yeah.
would you go about that from starting from
So
scratch?
So I would use it two ways if I were you guys, right? One way I would use it is you got a cool name, Back Talk.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
I would literally create a company page on LinkedIn and I will put content out every day around money, right? Talking about money, financial literacy. I will bring in, sometimes take clips from famous people who are talking about money, maybe Kevin O'Leary or somebody else, right? Showing that education and entertainment side. And I will consistently adding that content out there every single day. Guess what that's gonna do? That's gonna build a following for Bag Talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you have 1,000 followers, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. Guess what? The more you build that following, the bigger your influence is as a brand in the B2B space on LinkedIn. So that's one, right? Two,
Yeah.
then I will look at my personal profile, each of your profile, and start, okay, how do we want to use LinkedIn, right? Do we want to use it to do more collaboration and find other podcast hosts who are in similar niche that we can work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. Two, you want to use it for sponsorship and partnership opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then start, okay, let me start identifying maybe, Rel gonna focus on partners in this vertical and Newski gonna focus on partners in this vertical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now
Yeah.
both guys are working both in, and then you have the back talk page who's more content focused. Now you can
Yeah.
do all that by not spending a dime on advertising. And this is all content based, right?
Right.
Yes, it is a grind. Yes, you have to be consistent. Yes, you got to be creative, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you do it consistently and you already have a catchy name that people like Backtalk, you remember that,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can build a whole following around it. It's not going to happen in the next 3 months, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're consistent and you're putting out great content, that edutainment side of it, you
Mm-hmm.
can build that page in the next 2 3 years where now you have 100,000 following. And one of the easiest way to do that is to start looking at what are some of the big pages on LinkedIn that are not company based, that are more content based. What are they doing? How
Mm-hmm.
can I learn from them and take some piece of them and make it better using my own creativity?
Right.
So
Now,
that's
now,
the forefront.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I said that's the forward, that's the upfront. And then in the back end, you guys are building relationship with key people at companies. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Start identifying, okay, we have the brand manager here, we got the brand partner here. Who are these guys at Nike or at Amazon? Who are they connected to within my network? Oh, okay, I went to school with this guy. He works at Amazon and he looks like he can connect me to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's in the back end
Yeah.
side where you kind of building those relationships. And over time, guess what? Now you have that partnership with this company, that partnership with that company.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take time, but it's possible. It's really you got to start to make it happen.
Right. Right. And that's with everything, I think. You got to start to make it happen, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
there's two questions there. So one, I don't want to forget this one, right? So this is a very basic question because I think right now, every single day the Instagram algorithm is changing. Like every day the algorithm
Yes.
changes, every day TikTok, everything, right?
Wow.
People are complaining about it. So now one thing is on LinkedIn, I've been seeing a lot of people post when they get certifications, right? And they like hashtag certifications or
Mhm.
hashtag tech, right? So
Mhm.
do hashtags actually matter on LinkedIn right now? And is the algorithm changing that piece a little bit, or is that not happening? Like,
Good
how is that
question.
working?
Um, so one thing, and I want to kind of say that because I think it's important for people to know. Stop focused on the algorithm and start focusing on putting out quality content consistently.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
that's one thing. Because a lot of people talk about the algorithm because now it becomes a distraction and you kind of more worry about the algorithm instead of just keep putting out the content that you have that's already great.
It
So
becomes
that's
an
one.
excuse, basically.
Exactly. You don't want to create that. You know, it might not be in the forefront, but then it start creeping in sometimes. You don't want that. So you just say, okay, I'm gonna focus on putting out content. And I'm just gonna do it consistently and then see where that goes, right?
Hmm.
So and then you just measure as you do, right? Oh, this works better. Let me keep doing that. Oh, this didn't work. Okay. So you know, you change it as it goes, but you're getting feedback from the marketplace.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the one thing I want you to focus on. And then in terms of the hashtags, one thing that works with LinkedIn that's a little bit different
Hmm.
is on LinkedIn, the hashtags has followers, right? So if you
Yeah.
put hashtag networking events, you see that hashtags have maybe 2,000 followers or
Hmm.
3,000 followers. The beauty is that when you use some of those hashtags, your content can be seen by people that follow that particular hashtag. You
Hmm.
see what I mean? What I
Yeah.
would recommend is start identifying 2 to 3 good hashtags that you want to use consistently. And you could even take it a step further, 2 popular hashtag and one that you customize for yourself. Maybe hashtag bad
Back
talk,
talk. Right.
right? And then all your content have hashtag back talk. So anytime you talk to someone, you're like, oh, I want to see some of your content. Oh, it's real simple. Just search hashtag back talk and you see everything that we have.
Hmm.
You see what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would use it that way.
That's dope. Okay, so that algorithm thing that you said is definitely key. 'Cause I think it does become like a mental excuse, right, for people.
Yeah.
And the other question I think our audience is definitely gonna want to know because I just feel like this is the cheat code, right? So you keep on mentioning networking and reaching out to brand ambassadors or brand managers. Now, this question might be giving away too much gems, so I hear you on
Uh,
this,
Go
but
ahead.
basically, like, what is a template that people could basically use to be like, I, as an individual, right, am going to, so let's just say I'm going to use Bad Talk as an example here. Um, we're reaching out to someone who owns a financial literacy platform themselves. They have a business.
Mhm.
Now, when we reach out to them, what do you exactly like basically phrase it, right? Because you don't want to directly ask to be like, hey, can we do something together, right? Like, or do you obviously you want to build a relationship first? So how does that go? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, yeah. So first thing first, I will first identify a group of them, not just one, but
Hmm.
maybe, you know, if it's a large company, maybe 3 to 5 people at that company. If
Hmm.
it's, you know, different entrepreneurs that already has influence, maybe I have 5 to 7. Then the next thing I would do is looking at what are they posting. Right.
Hmm.
I will go through their history because I can look at in their activity and see what kind of posts that they're put in the past 5, 6 months. And then what are some of the posts they're like in the past 5, 6 months.
Hmm.
Right. So I'm doing my research in the back end. Then I'll look at their profile and identify who do we have in common or what kind of groups that we're in together. Right. Who can potentially make an introduction. If I can get an introduction, I'll go that route first because the introduction is faster because it that trust factor, the bridge to trust is quicker,
Right.
right?
Sure.
But if there isn't, then I start looking at what are they posting, and then
Hmm.
I'm start commenting on their posts and tagging them. Before
Mm.
I even reach out to them, I'm gonna just comment on their post and tag them a few times, just so my name can keep being seen in their notification,
Hmm.
right? After 4 or 5 times, people seeing that name, be like, "Who is this guy?" You know, why do I keep
Yeah.
commenting on my posts, especially if their posts are not getting a lot of comment or a lot of
Yeah,
activities,
yeah, yeah.
right? And then, you know, they're gonna reply back. Like I did that today. I
Right.
commented, tagged the guy, he replied back, he asked me a question, I replied back to him. Then now I send him an invitation and I say, hey, listen, love your recent post about blah, blah, blah. Here's what I like about it. Would love to connect. Let me know if you're open to it.
Hmm.
Keep
And
it
you're
that simple.
personalizing this, right? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
obviously, if it's a post about eating out, you're going to comment on that. But if it's a post about
Exactly.
reading a book, you're going to comment on that, and that separates you, I guess.
Yeah, because now you think about it, right? I'm not just another random just
Mm-hmm.
sending them a message, because that's what happened a lot on LinkedIn. You got a lot of people just blasting the same robotic
Mm-hmm.
message.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked in the past. I'm not gonna lie to you. We've used it in the past. It worked. People have gotten business from it. But now we're in a new era where people can sniff that miles away. So you have to spend that little extra time to personalize what you're saying, to show people that you really took the time. You looked at their profile, you noticed whether, went to school or who they're connected to. You read that last post, or you had at least skim it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now when you put your message, there's some form of personalization to it. And
Mm-hmm.
that way, that makes it, people are more open to reply to me
Mm-hmm.
because of that, right? So, a lot of people, their message get ignored. Mine doesn't, because I'm being more personalized. I'm not reaching out to thousands of people anymore. I'm very focused and very narrow, right? Because I'm looking for more quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense, and that's an interesting approach. Now, I mean, you're speaking on things that people do wrong, but could you just elaborate as far as what are the biggest mistakes you see people make on LinkedIn? Like,
Very simple.
yeah,
One, not using it. That's
easy
one.
one. That's a
Two,
fact.
you know, um, like, people will listen to this podcast and the first thing they'll do, man, I got a LinkedIn account, let me just go on there and start connecting with a bunch of people, not really having a plan in place on how you're going to use this, what I'm going to change in my profile. Because guess what, when you send that message, the first thing that person will do is look at your profile
Mm-hmm.
to figure out, do they even want to give you 5 minutes of their time, or even the opportunity to just reply back to you. They're going to look at your profile. Okay, who is this random person? Okay, all right, I see what they're doing, right? So your profile got
Yeah.
to share that. Your profile is like a selling tool for you,
Mm-hmm.
meaning for you guys, some of your podcast episode, the clip should be on your profile under the feature sections, right? So somebody come on your profile, they're already getting a taste of what you do. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then you also have a link that lead them to where they can get more, right? So, or that lead them if they want to learn more about the podcast, if they want to learn more about opportunity to partner with you guys. So you could create that. So your LinkedIn profile is like a sales tool for you. A lot of people don't use it as a sales and marketing tool. They use it as a resume holder. So that's another
Right.
big mistake. They just put, they work at XYZ company. Okay, who cares?
Right.
Nobody care about
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So how are you able to add value to what I'm doing? And why should I even waste my time reading your profile or even reply back to your message?
Right. 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 I got a question on that, right? So, when you say a lot of people use it as a resume builder, right? Or like a
Yeah.
resume basically just saying this is what I do. Let's talk about now the regular person, right? Who
Yeah.
does that? How can they start switching that around, right? Like what can they really do
Yeah.
to be like, yo,
So,
this guy's dropping gems. I need to take advantage of this. This is what I can do right now to switch everything around.
well, first thing first, what I would look at, okay, if you're in a job, right, and you're like, okay, I love what I do, I want to stick with the job, just updating your profile by adding a little bit more about not just, hey, I work at this company, but how did you add value to that organization?
Hmm.
That's what a lot of people missed on, right? If you
That's a
were
damn
part of a team that helped this company generate an extra $1 million, you should be sharing that,
Hmm.
right? You know, part of a team that helped with the operation that helped us increase our revenue to over 1 million in the past 6 months.
Hmm.
Now it's more quantifiable data, not just, I work here, that's it.
Right.
So these are some of the little details. And then talk about, what's your leadership style if you're in a leadership position.
Hmm.
If you're not in a leadership position, maybe talk about some of your expertise, right?
Hmm.
This is where content come in. If you enjoy writing, put out an article every week,
Hmm.
right? If you're more a video person, share some clips. Like, I'll give you an example. I have colleagues that I know when they were getting their internship a couple years ago in college, they used to put out short videos on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm in my internship. Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I'm doing. Right. And they're built a personal brand by just doing that.
Right.
And because of that personal brand, at the end of their internship, they're more likely to get hired.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You got to think about that, right? You
Yeah,
building
yeah,
an asset. Your personal brand is an asset. No matter you
yeah.
working a
Yeah.
job or you have a business, it's an asset. Think about it, right? Right. We talk about that before our podcast. Guys like The Rock or Kevin Hart or a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of these guys, their biggest asset is their personal brand.
Right. Right.
Why do you
Right.
think everybody want to do business with them? Because they're built such a strong personal brand.
It's like you know who Justin Tuck is?
No, but I'd love to connect with them.
Yeah, no, you definitely would. So he a shout out to my Giants, man. So basically he was actually a football player, right?
Mhm.
He won championships. He was a dope player. But he was always money savvy. And
Yeah.
now when you actually look at him on LinkedIn, you're gonna see he's a financial advisor for like Goldman Sachs. I believe
Mm.
it's I believe it's Goldman Sachs. I believe it's Goldman Sachs. He's like a VP there, right? But
Yes.
like when you look into it, he catered his whole profile to basically kind of what you were just saying, like The Rock and what Kevin Hart did, all those
Yeah.
people basically. He made a brand with football, with marketing, with
Hmm.
he's on it's like see it's like escaping right now, but like he's on so many different shows and then he's on
Mm.
Goldman Sachs and now his brand, you know him as the money person who played
Boom.
sports. So now he brings
Boom.
those worlds together and now he's basically doing what you just said.
Yeah. That's the formula. Like what he did, just follow that. Yeah, you may not, you didn't have an NFL career, but you've done certain things in your career. How do you connect these two together?
Right.
And this is where it come in to really lay out a plan and really
Hmm.
figure out a strategy and said, okay, if I'm gonna go all in a platform and this is the platform I want to focus on, here's how I'm gonna build this up. And then how you could use that personal asset that you built to get you almost any other position that you want. Because
Got
you
it.
can always say, hey, listen, I built a brand. I have over 100,000 people that follow me on LinkedIn. If I post something about your company, this is how it's going to impact it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it literally is like basically what people did with Instagram 5 years ago, 6 years ago. You're basically able to do that now with LinkedIn before it blows up to a point where it's
Yeah.
like you're kind of getting lost, right?
Exactly. Because think about it, right? It's been around for a long time, but it's still a lot of people are sleeping on it. But guess what's going to happen? As a lot of these platforms are changing, people are moving around, right?
Hmm.
Some people are now moving more toward
exactly.
YouTube. Some
Yeah.
people are moving more toward TikTok, and some people are moving toward LinkedIn. It
Hmm.
comes down to who's your audience.
Right. So two
Yeah.
things on that. Oh, go ahead, Ro.
Now go ahead, where you go.
I was just gonna say like basically with the LinkedIn thing, you just mentioned it right now. Um, do you see like LinkedIn being a major force in the upcoming years to the point where we saw Facebook change, right? We saw Instagram change. Now TikTok came out of nowhere, and I don't know what's next. I don't see the future, but I'm just asking, like, do you see LinkedIn kind of doing the same thing, like and
Well,
So
going
you
through
know
the
what
same pains?
that was actually the question I was gonna ask. We always be in sync, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I love it, right? And I love it. The back talk team, I love it.
That's my brother,
Yeah,
bro.
100%, because you gotta look at it this way, right? Like all these platforms, their biggest thing is they want more attention.
Hmm.
That's it. Because attention, the more attention you get, the more money you can make. The more attention you get, the more people spend more time on your platform. The more time they spend on the platform, the more money you can make. So there's
Hmm.
always gonna be that war in between platforms. Although they're making changes, at the end of the day, if they lose that attention, they're losing a lot of dollars, right?
Hmm.
So yes, LinkedIn is not, in my opinion, right? Because I don't have a crystal ball, but in my personal opinion, that platform is gonna keep changing, just like all the other platform. It's already a major player, but it's just a major player in the B2B space. And I
Hmm.
think it is slowly changing where more people are being themselves now on LinkedIn than before.
Right.
Before, people are solely buttoned up and corporate. Since
Yeah.
COVID, people are being more themselves, right? Dress how they want to dress, speak how they want to speak, and still add value.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm seeing. That's the shift I'm seeing happening. It's happening very slowly, very swiftly. A lot of people don't see it, but I'm seeing it,
Right.
and it's gonna take time because LinkedIn is one of those platforms that takes a lot of time. It's slow, right? It's a slow process, but
Hmm.
once it hit that critical mass where people start being more themselves, boom.
Got it.
Yeah, it's funny. That's actually what I thought of LinkedIn as. Like I said, that wasn't relevant to the field I was a part of before. So I always thought of LinkedIn like, oh, it's just for corporate business world, something like that. But now I guess now it's starting to change. I actually like that because it's more inclusive, and now you can see the
Yeah.
platform starting to transform, and there's an opportunity there because when you're new to something, right, you're first to market. So
Mm-hmm.
like obviously it might not be that big yet. Like you said, it's a slow change. But for people who are maybe content creators or maybe not in a button up, there might be an opportunity in LinkedIn for them at this exact moment. You
Yeah.
know,
Because they're different, right? You think about it. You got a bunch
exactly.
of suit guy and you coming in with a t-shirt and you still spitting that real game.
Yeah.
Right.
That you
Right.
you already set yourself apart from 90% of everybody in the platform.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then somebody just has to take a chance on it. And like you said, like
Yeah.
once you're different, there's value there. And so I was wondering as well, like obviously you've seen Facebook, Instagram, YouTube all mimic TikTok on the vertical videos. Does
Hmm.
Yeah.
LinkedIn have an aspect to that, and are they focused on that?
Well, and once again, independent. I just, I use LinkedIn as a platform. I teach people how to use it. So I can't speak to them directly. From what I've seen, my personal experience, yeah, there is the vertical videos. At a time in the past, LinkedIn even had LinkedIn stories, but they killed it because it didn't work out so
I
well.
remember that.
Yeah, right.
I
It
didn't even know
wasn't
that. I
working
didn't know
out
that.
so well. So I know they're always testing different things. They
Hmm.
have small beta testing group, like I've participated in beta testing group in the past. What they're testing, if it's going well, they put it out to the public. If it's not going so well, they slowly kill it.
Hmm.
One thing I could tell you that's been working that I recently just got access to is LinkedIn Audio, similar to what Clubhouse did,
Hmm.
right? Now they
Yep.
have the LinkedIn Audio where you can literally have a whole conversation on audio within the platform using your mobile phone.
Hmm.
So that's picking up
That's cool.
steam. You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, and that,
And
That's
honestly,
great
that
for that.
makes
Oh,
sense. It's like the
yeah,
audios, everything's going towards the podcast thing, right? So like
yeah,
now they're trying to transition.
but
yeah,
look at the demographic that's on LinkedIn. Like you said, there's a lot of professionals, a lot of people who are doing like major things. You're putting them in a room to network with each other the way Clubhouse did. This is like Clubhouse like elite status in a sense.
exactly.
It's on
On
steroids,
Yeah,
steroids.
honestly.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fire.
It's slowly growing. Like I've been to some of the beta testing. I just got it, right? So I'm gonna be experimenting with it more. But think about that, right? Like it's like a meeting of the minds, and people get a chance to pick into that conversation, just like we're having a podcast here, and
Hmm.
you're able to do these audios on the platform. And I think they're also doing something with podcasts, like a podcast platform that they're building slowly as well. So they're testing different things.
Ooh.
They're testing things,
Powerhouse. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just be on the lookout. I would recommend like just subscribe to some other channels.
Hmm.
We have tons of stuff. When we see stuff coming out, we share it with our network, through our newsletter, and so forth. So that's what I think people should do, just to keep your eyes. Because if you start jumping onto, you see this opportunity, you jump on it early, you can build a whole business around it. I have a friend of mine. She built a multi seven figure business on LinkedIn using just one LinkedIn features, just
What?
one
That's
feature,
crazy.
right?
That's wild.
Because you got to think about it, right? It's all about who's your audience. She
Hmm.
used the video features. She started focusing on people who wants to leverage video.
Hmm.
So
Got you.
think that.
And um, like something else, right? Because I remember very, very clearly, like I have like a business background, so my mentor
Yeah,
was always telling me like go on LinkedIn, and I remember actually teaching people something like this is how you could find alumni on your school, in your city,
yeah,
that worked in this past company and this is their current company. Like there's a lot of features you could do on LinkedIn on that, right?
Yes.
And then I would reach out to these people. Like I was doing what you actually said to do, where it was like I remember, shout out to Opata if you're watching this. We were literally in the room. We would message 10 people a day on LinkedIn, right? Trying to hope and pray that we got like 3 messages back,
Yeah.
right? So we would message 10 people a day every day for 7 days. So we would be like, all right, 70 messages, boom.
How did it
We did that.
go?
We did that for 280 messages in a month. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was tough and it was very annoying, but like 10 people responded. Out of that 10, I got like it was crazy because I actually ended up getting coffee with someone who worked at, I mean, now I could say who worked at PwC, right? And
Nice.
basically I actually ended up getting that internship and then the externship, and then from there I took that to get my offer at my full-time offer, right? So it was a lot of networking that happened, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, you guys just put in the time, right? It's slow,
Yeah.
but it happens. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is a tip that you could say for people that obviously will message people, right? Because someone's going to hear this and be like, yo, I'm going to start messaging people. So what do you have to say for people that won't have the same luck, right? That won't get the response back? Like, how do they deal with that?
So there's a couple ways to deal with it, right? The worst way is to just give up because that's what a lot of people do.
Hmm.
The other way is, okay, if that didn't work, but I can see the person is still on LinkedIn because you could see them posting,
Hmm.
engage with their post. Maybe your approach wasn't right. Maybe what you said didn't grab their attention, or maybe they just don't check their messages often.
Hmm.
Right. So that's one way. The other way is there are tools you can use to get people's email address. Like you can use a
Yeah.
tool called Wizard.co that allows you to get people's email address. And sometimes you may want to reach out on email and say, hey, I found you on LinkedIn, was impressed with your profile. I noticed you do XYZ. I'm
Hmm.
working in this field. Would love to see how we can work together or collaborate, or would love to share some insight that can help you, or really just start having that type of conversation with them.
Got it.
Um, and guess what? Sometimes that works better than sending a message on LinkedIn. Because if
Hmm.
the person don't check their LinkedIn often, but they're on their emails 24/7, they most likely will see it via email. And
Yeah.
some people, I had like a guy that we worked with in the past. He's a business coach. He's a older gentleman. He said people don't talk to people on the phone anymore. So what I do is I go on LinkedIn and I just call people. So
That's a bold move.
yeah, so
Is that
he'll do
like,
that. It works for him.
yeah, yeah, everything works for different people, right? So
Yeah.
that makes sense. And like, is that LinkedIn premium thing? Like, is
So
that play any part in it?
it does. Now, here's the thing, right? We have the free LinkedIn account that
Hmm.
anybody can use. Set up your profile, put out content, and then, if you're not gonna do a lot of research on building a team or building a potential partner or prospect list, you're good there. But if you want to get more data on people, this is where tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator come in. This is the premium tool that you pay for.
Hmm.
It's like $100 a month, but the data that you're getting is amazing. So let's say you want to work with startups, right? Let's say you guys want to work with startups, that you want partner with startups with money. You want startups that has funding. You can go on Sales Navigator. You can do searches for tech startups that
Hmm.
got funding in the past 12 months. You'll see a bunch of them. I have some videos on YouTube around that. And you can literally just reach out to them. You could see what kind of funding they got, how much they got in funding, what they should be using that fund for. And if they should be using it for marketing, ding, 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 ding. Hey, congrats on getting your round of funding, Series B. This is fantastic. We've been building a community that has your ideal clients.
Hmm.
There may be opportunity for us to collaborate. Would it make sense to discuss further?
Right.
And so, even kind of on the topic in a sense, I know we're talking about being able to reach people in a sense. So just on
Yeah.
ads, I know earlier Newski mentioned advertisements on LinkedIn are expensive, right? So like, do you think it's worth the cost for people to actually invest ad dollars?
100%. The way you gotta look at it is if you have a product that's 25 grand, right? You're gonna spend
That's
like,
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. You see what I mean? But if you have a product
Yeah,
that's $10, then it doesn't make sense. So it
got
Yeah.
it.
has math has to make sense. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm not gonna tell somebody to invest in ads if your product is $10 or $20 because the cost per click on LinkedIn is too high. So that won't make sense
Exactly.
for you. You see what I mean? But
Yes.
if you have a
Absolutely.
high ticket product, like you an enterprise company and you selling a 50,000 or $100,000 product, yeah, you should be doing ads. You should be investing at least 20% of the revenue toward marketing and ads.
Hmm.
So you spend 20 grand to make 100,000. That
Hmm.
makes perfect sense.
Right. And and I guess in that sense, like I don't, because when you're saying this, right, and I feel like some people might take the same thing I'm about to say, is like is LinkedIn, it kind of summarized the whole episode really. Is LinkedIn really for people who have a high-end product? I don't, if you're a business, small or big, is
Mhm.
LinkedIn for people who have a high-end product on the business side? Is that what LinkedIn's audience kind of caters to? Because as you said, like if you are running something, a subscription model for 5.99, you're probably not going to be on LinkedIn because it's going to cost too much to get that click, right? So does that make sense, or
Yeah,
am I off there?
so here's the way I look at it, right? If you have that 5.99 product, maybe a subscription model, you may be on LinkedIn and leverage the referral partnership, but you don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to do advertising. If you have a
Got it.
$5,000 product or $10,000 product, you may want to use LinkedIn and run ads. Now, the
Mm,
reason the ads are expensive in the forefront because that cost per click is higher because you're targeting a more, high level audience.
hmm. Right.
The power on that is when you set up your retargeting, which is much cheaper than that first cost per click because
Hmm.
now it's a warmer audience
Yep.
and you're able to adapt the money you spend on retargeting gonna pay off. You
Hmm.
see what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then if you
definitely.
if you also have let's say a 5.99 subscription model, that's okay. But do you have a high ticket program in the back end?
Hmm. Hmm. Like it's like
You
a
know what I
value
mean?
ladder, right? Like, do you have the
Exactly.
barrier to
Yeah.
entry, but like, what's the catch right there, right?
Yeah. What's the high ticket in the back end, right? Like you
Hmm.
have a
Sure.
5.99 subscription, but you may have a 10,000 or $15,000 mastermind.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So the way I
Yes.
see it is LinkedIn is for everyone. It's really got to think about is your audience on there? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And let's
Hmm.
say you don't have a business, but you're thinking about starting a business. Maybe, a lot of people don't know this, but there's 12 revenue streams on LinkedIn alone. So if you want to turn LinkedIn into your business, why not? You could start an advertising or become a media buyer and basically just run ads for those companies.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I didn't know
And
that.
guess what? You don't need to
Yeah.
get a degree. All you need to know is learn how to run ads on LinkedIn. Like we have on our mentorship program, we have this young gentleman. He's 21 years old. I'm teaching him how to run ads. And guess what he's gonna do? Once he know how to do that, he's gonna basically become a media buyer. He can work with an agency or he could start his own agency.
Hmm. And you're
Now that's
you're
a
Wow.
you're cool
revenue
with
stream.
that?
Yeah, why not? You know
Yeah,
That's
how big
fire.
this platform is? Like it's millions of people. I'm not gonna be able to reach millions of people. And if I'm able to impact that person and they're started that business, to me, that's a win. Because
Yeah.
guess what?
yeah,
They're always gonna say, hey, Julbert impacted my life and helped me started this business that now feed my family.
Yeah. That's inspirational. That's dope.
Thank you.
that's character right there. Wow. So like, yeah, I mean, Newski, you got any more questions? Because I feel
Yeah,
like
honestly,
my
I
head's
have
spinning
one
already.
more, right? I
Yeah,
actually have
go.
one more question. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so basically, this one is really just for people who, once again, right, the average person. So we spoke about both different, aspects.
Yeah.
I think one question that comes to mind just for the average person, last question, I promise, is, I'm a person who is looking to get a new job, right? I'm fed up, et cetera, et cetera. I've been trying to reach people. Now, do you recommend, and this might be, something that you might not know the answer to essentially, but like, do you think it's okay to just reach out to recruiters left and right? Because I think I have a lot of friends who ask me this, and I'm like, honestly, I'm gonna ask you because you're the LinkedIn guy here.
Uh,
Like,
yeah.
like if I'm trying to get a new job, like, do I follow the same thing when recruiters post something? Do I go and comment on their profile, right? Do I go and email them possibly? Like, do I follow the same thing? You know, it's not cookie cutter, but
So
it's the same process.
that's one
And
strategy.
also just sorry, just add on as well as there's a such thing as following up too much. But yeah, continue.
All right. So that's one strategy, right? Focus on the recruiter. What I would do, and I'm looking at this in two ways, the person looking for a job and the actual employer,
Hmm.
right? I would go a little bit deeper. I would look at the company, all right? Because sometimes I will go into that company, I will figure out who is the owner, because you can
Hmm.
do all that. Who is the hiring managers, right? Who works at the company that went to the same school that I attended,
Hmm.
right? Because everything is relationship based.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Who's posting on LinkedIn? What's going on with their company page? And then how can I add value?
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe instead of reaching out to all these people and nothing work, I can see who in the company just got this new job in the past 90 days
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
just reach out to them and say, hey, congratulations on your new job. Listen, I know you guys down the street from me. I just sent a box of pizza for you and your team. Let me know how you like it.
That's
Tough,
fire.
tough.
You see what I mean? I'm not like even, you know, all I'm trying to do is grab their attention. They're like, oh wow, thank you so much, you know. And then the next day I'm calling them or emailing them and I'm not asking them for the job and said, listen, you know, I would love to just come in, introduce myself. I saw what you guys are doing. I have some ideas and insight and just would love to share it with you.
Right. You're kind of just shooting your shot.
Yeah, but I'm
Literally.
adding value in the forefront instead of just going apply for a bunch of position and
Right.
just hoping that my resume doesn't go into this black hole and somebody get back to me. Because those recruiters, they get so many people reaching
Hmm.
out to them, it's almost impossible for them to get back at everyone.
Right.
So
Now,
how do
now,
you separate yourself from 99% of everybody else?
yeah, yeah. Now we're about to see Domino sales go crazy because of pizza. I want y'all to not just do pizza. Please get original and offer your own
Yes,
value.
yes,
For real. And I love the what we always say on this channel, like lead with value. Lead with value. And
yeah.
that's really what you just spoke on. And just just to add on that part, like is there such thing as following up too much?
To me, no, but I think it's not about following up too much, it's how you follow up,
Mm,
right?
Uh,
Because I have a client that's it took us 2 years to get that client. And guess
Sheesh,
what?
persistence.
Yeah, persistency, but it wasn't like every day I was calling them. You
mhm.
know, I will follow up via email this month. Next month, I will shoot him a text. Next month, I will like. So it's just touch points,
Right.
right? And then I saw an opportunity where he got a job promotion. He became a VP of sales. I sent him a video message. Say, hey man, congrats on everything you got going on. You know, I'm excited for you. That's it. And then he came back and said, hey man, thanks, appreciate that. I'm like, hey, what are you planning to do with your, for your birthday? And like you're, just starting conversation.
Hmm.
And that conversation led, you know what? Yeah, I know you've been following up with me, right? Let's set up some time to chat. That turned me
Yeah.
training about 40 salespeople on how they can use LinkedIn.
Right.
Years.
That's fire. Literally, I had the same story with my mentor. That's literally how I got my mentor. I just kept
Right.
on bothering her and following up with her, but I did it in a way that every month or so I would update her on my life to let her know what I'm getting better at, using her own
Yeah.
tips.
Yeah, bro. Like that's how you gotta do it, man.
Hmm.
It's all relationship and it's not easy. I don't want people to think, it's a walk in the park, but it is simple if you have a strategy that you set up for yourself.
Right.
Uh, okay, cool. So listen, we always ask all of our guests to leave our audience with some bag talk. And so far, you have dropped a lot of bag talk, so
Yeah.
many gems that I don't even know. I'm sure you have more left because you're a wizard at this stuff. But like, I'm already overwhelmed with great information, but if you have any more bag talk that you can please give our audience, just a gem, anything you
All
have.
right. All right. So I'm gonna give your audience something that if anybody's looking to make some money, and not everybody's gonna take advantage of this, but some will. Um, and you want to start a side business, a very simple side business you can start is start a LinkedIn profile makeover agency.
Mm.
All that is you're doing people's LinkedIn profile. You could choose people that's looking for jobs. You could choose people that work in a specific industry. Maybe they're in real estate, and just do that. That's your side business. You could charge between $500, depends on what income bracket they're in. If they're CEOs, to about 2,000. You do a couple of those a month. Now you have a six-figure business on the side.
Jesus
I guess
Christ.
I'm about to retire from bag
Yeah,
talk,
no,
yo.
it's
It's been
yeah,
real,
well,
my
I'm gonna
boy.
catch you later, bro. It's been nice. It's been nice knowing you. Yo, I'm about to hit you up right now on the side. No, that was dope. That
Yeah, that's
actually was a
crazy.
fire job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
Yes,
you. And
yes,
before we let you out of here, we can, this should not be fair, right? Like, promote yourself, man. Where can they find you? I know you offer consultation. I want
yes,
y'all to, if you guys please, like, go check out his website. We're gonna put the link below. I'm gonna let you talk about it. But I was doing my own research and I saw some validation videos. Those are fire. Like they
Yeah,
are
those are
thank
genuine
you.
great.
videos. So I love that. But go ahead, let them know where they can find you and
Absolutely.
everything.
Hey, if you guys want to find me one, LinkedIn, just put Julbert J. Abraham. You could Google me as well. YouTube, I have tons of video content on that. I got a couple different channels. Julbert Thoughts, Julbert Abraham, and you could find us there. Instagram, Jeff Abe Online, TikTok, Jeff Abe Online. Um, we got one program right now, especially if you're looking to do like what I talk about, the agency side. It's our mentorship program. So definitely hit me up, shoot me a DM, say, hey, you heard me from the podcast. That program is lit. 8 weeks. We teach you exactly how to start a LinkedIn consulting business that can make you six figures, package it, and then sell it in a couple of years. You know, simple.
That's fire. This man has memorized and gotten his whole elevator pitch ready. You know that from the front to the back. I love it. I love it. No, thank you, Gilbert. That was amazing, bro.
Thanks,
Man,
y'all. Y'all be safe, man. This was awesome.
For sure. For everyone who's watching right now, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. As always, hit that little notification bell because we drop,
2 videos a week.
and you don't want to miss them, y'all. But you guys want to know, check out the information below, and we'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Later.
Hey.